Good morning, 4-H photographers. This is Guy Buchanan, your 4-H team leader. I'm going to give you a short little video of an edit I recently did. I'm going to redo the edit and show you what I did and talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing. Tried this once before and it ended up being 26 minutes. That's way too long, so we're going to try this, cut this way back. So I'm going to just show you what I do, and you can kind of follow along. Most of you don't have this software, so you don't have to learn exactly what's going on with the software anyways. What I really want to show you is what I'm thinking and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And we're just going to skip all the technical jargon this time. Now on the screen you can see this picture that a friend of mine took, and she took this picture up there in Utah, and I just thought it was a gorgeous picture, so I asked her to send it to me so I could edit it and show you guys how to improve something. This is straight out of her phone. It's a fairly low resolution picture, so I think it has the same problem of when she sent it to me, I think it reduced the resolution. It's kind of tricky sometimes getting the correct resolution out of your phone. And you got to make sure that you're getting it when you send somebody a picture so that you don't send them a blurry picture. Anyways, why did I like this picture? I love this picture because of the contrast of the bright oranges and some purples up here and some yellows here. It's an evening shot, sunset. We've got kind of a blue-gray foreground here that we're going to have to work on. We've got some blurry bushes here because it was shot from a car. So let's see what we can do to this to make it more interesting for us. Starting here on my software, I basically start at the top and work my way down and edit things as I go. And then once I've gone through once, then I start changing things and moving them around to interest me. So first thing I do is I crop the photograph. I'm going to bring up the bottom a little bit and then bring the top down a little bit. I love what's up here, the color and everything, but it's just too much of it. So we're going to bring this down. You can see these white lines here. These lines are my 1/3 points, and you've probably seen some of my comments that it's kind of neat sometimes to put the focal point of the picture on the 1/3 point, and why I don't know, but we've got a cloud line here at 1/3 and we've got this horizon at 1/3, so we're going to go with that for now and see what it looks like. And that's definitely better. I'm working my way down. I'm not going to change the white balance right off the bat. Mouse will work. Yeah, no, that's too yellow. So I'm going to bring that back. Okay, I'm going to change the exposure by hitting auto expose. That's really bright. It's trying to make the photograph look like a daytime photograph, and I don't want it. I actually want it to look more of an evening photograph than before. So I'm going to actually bring the contrast down a little bit. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to check my whites, make sure I got plenty of whites. Okay, see those blotches coming up tell me where the photograph has too much white. And see if I bring it up and the blotch is up there. These white blotch spots are blown out. Basically, there's no information there. So I'm going to bring that back so that I have lots of information in there. The little green spots are in the snow. They're small enough we're not going to notice that. I'm going to do the same for blacks. I got a bunch of black cows down there, and I'm going to bring those up so that they're not black blotches. And we're going to go with that for now. Okay, let's work on this foreground a little bit. I'm going to bring up what's called a gradient tool. And what this enables me to do is change the picture using a gradient. So at the top of this line, there's no change. At the bottom of the line, there's maximum change. And you can see, well, I've got it set to color purple right now. I don't want to do that. What I really want to do is change the exposure. So we've got to set it to exposure, and I'm actually going to bring that down a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to add another gradient right here at the, whoa, yeah, it gets kind of squirrely. I'm going to add another gradient right here at the horizon. And this is a very abrupt gradient. And once again, I'm going to zero that out, and I'm going to bring the exposure down a little more and the clarity up. And what the clarity does is it increases the contrast in the midsection. And you can see if I bring it down and then bring it up, it actually brings up the highlights a little bit so you can see them better. So how does that look? That looks pretty good. I'm going to bring this exposure down on this one. I think a little bit more, and I think I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit. There we go. How's that? Okay, that's a good start. So let's see. You know what else I'm going to do on this foreground? The foreground is blue because, of course, shade is always blue. So I'm going to look at bringing up the color temperature a little bit. Now see, that's too much. That's weird brown stuff. I want it to be mostly blue, but bring it up just a little. Let's do that for now. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now I want to bring a little bit of purple highlight into the sky. So we're going to go back to our color again. And we're going to bring this purple highlight into the sky. And you say, wow, that's just crazy. Yeah, it is a bit crazy for now, but let me show you what we're going to do. Is we are going to open up that color, and then we're going to bring it straight down and reduce the saturation of that color until we've got just a bit of it in the sky. Okay, now if I click this tab over here, you can see that's no color. It's color. No color, color. I like that. Okay. Now, okay, let's do one more thing before we get into dodging and burning. Let's bring in what's called a vignette, and we're going to darken the corners. See, this is what a vignette looks like. It darkens the corners. So we're going to bring in a little bit of vignette. I'm going to make it larger and blurrier so you can't really tell it's there. And the reason I do that is I want to highlight this mountain. I want to accentuate it in the middle. I want to make it look really cool. Okay, now what I'm going to do is what's called dodging and burning. I go up here and I get this brush, and I'm going to select exposure, and I'm going to bring it down about halfway, and that's dark. Okay, now you can see this ring I've got. The inside of the ring is solid where it's going to paint, and I'll show you what it does. I'm going to bring this exposure all the way down, and yeah, you can't see it. Okay, let's bring the flow all the way up. Now you can see it. See what it's doing? It's painting dark exposure on the photograph. Now obviously I don't want to have anything like that, but what I do is I bring what's called the flow way down here to 10 and bring the exposure up here to the middle, and you're just going to see when I brush, it's just going to barely do it. So here I go. I'm going to paint a little bit over here on these mountains, bring these down a bit. I'm going to paint over here on these just to bring them down a little bit. I'm going to bring this cloud line down. Basically, I'm going to increase local contrast. I want to make these guys more visible. Now, you look in the shadows of this mountain here. I want to bring these shadows down a little bit so that the mountains have more variation in them. I don't want to go on the light part. I just want to do the shadows. Okay, good. Let's see, a little bit more down here. And let's see. That'll be good for now. Yeah. Get a little bit over here. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go bright. And if I turn the flow down and I turn the exposure all the way up, you'll see it's going to paint really bright. Okay, we don't want to do that, so we're going to turn the flow down. Flow down to 10 again. And bring this exposure up halfway. And now I'm going to paint with light. And what I really want to bring up a little bit is I want to bring up these orange sections. I love these things. Yeah. I'm going to paint a little bit up here in the snow. I'm going to paint along this line of clouds up here. Up here. Bring these cloud lines up. That looks pretty good. Let's see. Let's bring that up. Okay, good. All right. Now I'm going to do a new one, and I'm going to work on this foreground because I want to bring some variability up into this foreground. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some of these spots so as to make the foreground more interesting. Let's see, we're going to paint around here, these cows. Paint this. Basically what I'm doing is I'm following this line of brighter ground here, and I'm highlighting it. Here's another piece up here. I'm going to actually increase the clarity a little bit on those to bring them up even more. And the reason I'm doing this is just to give a little interest to the foreground. I don't want to give too much interest because after all, that's not what we're after. But I want to give it a little bit of interest. And actually over here you can see it's gotten too bright. I've actually done too much. So if I hold down the Alt key and I can actually subtract what I did. Okay, that's better. Okay. Let's see, where is this one? See, wherever it shows red, that's where I painted. Okay, good, good. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to paint with some color because I love that orange color. So I'm actually going to pick an orange color, and I'm going to, my flow is down at 10 again, and I'm actually going to highlight these areas with some more orange. And I got to turn the exposure down because that was a mistake. We don't want to increase the exposure. We just want color. So that's kind of cool. And you know what else? I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to just go ahead and close that, and I'm just going to increase the saturation of the whole photograph just a tiny bit. There we go. And you can see what's happened here. We've got really vivid colors, interesting colors. And I really like what we've got going there. I'm actually going to go down here and turn my vignette down just a little bit more. Highlight that mountain even more. Give it kind of a painterly look. And there we go. What do you think? If I hit my backslash key, that shows us what we started with. Now that's what we started with. And that's what we ended with. That's a lot better. Very pretty picture. Okay, that was fun. Thank you very much for watching, and we will do this again. We'll get up some new short videos. If you guys have any photographs you'd like me to edit, see what I can do with them, go ahead and send them to me. Just make sure that they're high-resolution photographs. Don't let your transfer software shrink them down. All right? Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.